it's not quite as simple as having one or two formulas and then saying the market is undervalued or overvalued or a company is undervalued or overvalued.
Are market cap to GDP and cyclically adjusted PE still valid ways to consider market valuation, and how do those influence Berkshire's investment decisions? Thank you.
Charlie, I think, I guess Charlie's overall value in China. I would say that both of the standards you mentioned are not paramount at all in our valuation of securities. It's harder. People are always looking for a formula. And there is an ultimate formula, but the trouble is you don't know what to stick in for the variables in it. But that's the value of anything being the present value of all the cash it's ever going to distribute. But the PE ratios, every number has some degree of means more sometimes than others. Evaluation of a business is it's not reducible to any formula where you can actually put in the variables perfectly. And both of the things that you mentioned get bandied around a lot. It's not that they're unimportant, but sometimes they can be very important. Sometimes they can be almost totally unimportant. It's not quite as simple as having one or two formulas and then saying the market is undervalued or overvalued or a company is undervalued or overvalued. The most important thing is future interest rates, and people frequently plug in the current interest rate, saying that's the best they can do. After all, it does reflect a market's judgment, and the 30-year bond should tell you what people who are willing to put out money for 30 years and have no risk of dollar gain or dollar loss at the end of the 30-year period. What better figure can you come up with? I'm not sure I can come up with a better figure, but that doesn't mean I want to use the current figure either. So I would say that I think Charlie's answer will be that he does not come up with China versus the U.S. market based on what you've mentioned as yardsticks. But no, Charlie, you tell him.
All I meant was that I said before that the first rule of fishing is to fish where the fish are, is that a good fisherman can find more fish in China if fish is the stock market. That's all I meant.
Yeah. I'm going to go back
to a happier hunting ground.
This doesn't really directly relate. I want to go back to one question that was mentioned earlier. I really think if you want to be a good evaluator of businesses, an investor, you really ought to figure out a way without too much personal damage to run a lousy business for a while. I think you learn a whole lot more about business by actually struggling with a terrible business for a couple of years than you learn by getting into a very good one where the business itself is so good that you can't mess it up. I don't know whether Charlie has a view on that or not, but it was a big part of our learning experience, and I think a bigger part in the sense than being involved with good businesses was actually being involved in some bad businesses and just seeing
how awful it was,
how awful it is, and how little you can do about it, and how IQ does not solve the problem, and a whole bunch of things. It's a useful experience, but I wouldn't advise too much of it. What do you think so, Charlie? Here,
yeah. It was very useful to us. There's nothing like personal, painful experience if you want to learn. And we certainly had our share of it.
We all hope you win the record as mankind's oldest living person. But at some point, you and our Charlie will go. And Berkshire stock may then come under selling pressure. My question is, if Berkshire stock falls to a price where share repurchase is attractive, Can we count on the board and top management to repurchase shares? I ask this question both because of past comments you have made about not wanting to take advantage of shareholders and because some of the passages in the owner's manual lead me to believe this might be an instance when the board does not choose to repurchase shares. Can you clarify what course of action we might expect about repurchases in the circumstances I have outlined?
Yeah, well, as far as I'm concerned, they're not taking advantage of shareholders if they buy the stock when it's undervalued. That's the only way they should buy it, and they should. But in doing so, there were a few cases back when Charlie and I were much younger where there were very aggressive repurchases or the equivalent of repurchases by people, and the repurchases incidentally made a lot more sense than they do now, but they were done by people who either, for various techniques, tried to depress the shares. And if you're trying to encourage your partners to sell out at a depressed price by various techniques, including misinformation, but there's other techniques, I think that's reprehensible. But our board wouldn't be doing that. I'll take exception to the first part of it, but I'll still answer the second. I think the stock is more likely to go up. If I died tonight, I think the stock would go up tomorrow, and there'd be speculation about breakups and all that sort of thing. So it would be a good Wall Street story that this guy that's obstructed breaking up something where some of the parts might sell for more than the whole. They wouldn't necessarily probably be worth less than the whole, but might sell for temporarily for more than the whole. And it would happen. So I would bet in that direction. But if for some reason it went down to a level that's attractive, I don't think the board is doing anything in the least that's reprehensible by buying in the stock at that point. No false information, no nothing. And their buying means that the seller would get a somewhat better price. Or if there are a lot of sellers, they'd get a mildly better price than if they weren't buying. And the continuing stockholders would benefit. So I think it's obvious what they would do, and I would think it's obvious that it's pro-shareholder to do it. And I think they would engage in pro-shareholder acts as far as the eye can see. I mean, we've got that sort of board. Charlie?
Well, I think you or I might suddenly get very stupid very quickly, but I don't think our board is going to have that problem.
Well, I want to think about that one. Okay, Jonathan.
Amazon has been hugely disruptive due to the brilliance of Jeff Bezos, whom Charlie earlier called the business mind of our generation. What is your current outlook on Amazon, and why hasn't Berkshire bought in?
Well, because I was too dumb to realize what was going to happen. Even though I admired Jeff, I've admired him for a long, long time and watched what he was doing, but I did not think that he could succeed on the scale he has, and I certainly didn't even think about the possibility of doing anything with Amazon Web Services or the cloud. So if you'd asked me the chances that while he was building up the retail operation, that he would also be doing something that was disrupting the tech industry, that would have been a very, very long shot for me. And I've really underestimated the brilliance of the execution. I mean, it's one thing to dream about doing this stuff online, but it takes a lot of ability. And you can read his 1997 annual report, and he laid out a roadmap, and he's done it in spades. And if you haven't seen his interview on Charlie Rose 3 or 4 months ago, charlierose.com, go to and listen to it, because you'll learn a lot. At least I did. So I just plain, it always looked expensive, and I really never thought that he would be where he is today. I thought he was really brilliant, but I did not think he would be where he is today when I looked at it 3, 5, 8, 12 years ago, whenever it may have been. Charlie, how did you miss it?
It was easy. What was done there was very difficult. And it was not at all obvious that it was all going to work as well as it did. I don't feel any regret about missing
No.
out on the achievements of Amazon. But other things were easier, and I think we screwed up a little.
No. We won't pursue that line.
Well, I meant Google.
Well, we missed a lot of things.
Yes,
We missed a lot of things.
and we'll keep doing it.
Yeah. And we'll have a trillion.
Luckily, we don't miss everything, Warren. That's our secret. We don't miss them all.
Okay, we better move on, I think.